Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is very exciting because we are looking ahead. I will be sharing a sneak peek of the upcoming Spring 2020 Chanel collection, Desert Dream. Now, none of these pieces are available just yet, but they will be soon, which is hard to believe. It's not even Christmas, and here we are talking about 2020 as if it's around the corner. But it is. Now, I personally love to know what's coming. That way I can plan in advance and budget accordingly. I already have my wish list drawn up from this collection. So if you want to be one of the first people to see this entire collection, you're in the right place. I always like to begin by talking a little bit about the inspiration. It's what sets Chanel apart. Sure, the colors are beautiful, the packaging's stunning, but it's the story that really brings the entire collection to life. And this collection, Desert Dream, like many of her previous collections, was inspired by an exotic trip taken by Lucia Pica. She visited the desert of Namib, and she was captivated by all of the muted tones and surprised by the dominance of mauve. Sparkling desert quartz, the warmth of the intense sun, the texture of the rocks, all captured on Polaroid film and brought to life in this collection. You can really tell that the pictures from the mood board all work in harmony. If there was one mood to describe this collection, it's calm, which I love for spring because usually when we think of spring, we think of life and this burst of energy coming out of winter, coming out of hibernation, and there are usually bright colors. Last year was dominated by iridescence, and you saw a lot of pinks and blues and sparkling hues from a lot of different brands. So I think this is such a turn in a different direction for a spring collection. The satiny, more matte, soft finishes, I think is really something special. I'm personally very excited to see what other brands come out with at the same time. But this is something that is really dreamy and sort of yummy and delicious coming from Chanel. I'm excited to see these products in person. Now let's take a look inside, shall we? The Desert Dream collection will be shipping out to retailers sometime in January 2020, but it will make its way to Chanel.com and probably the Chanel Beauty boutiques by the end of the month. So the first product I have to share is a new highlighter. This is the Eclat du Desert. It will retail for $70. It's described as a satiny pink beige highlighter with an exclusive imprint of sand dunes from the desert. This looks very different from the last two highlighters, both the Camellia and the Metal Peach. Based on the photo, this looks very soft, almost more like a luminous face setting powder, like the luminously beige powders. So I will be very curious to see this in person and compare it with the Metal Peach. I already know it's going to be different from the Camellia highlighter, which is so bright, so blinding with that platinum beaming hue. This I think is going to be a lot more wearable and much softer. I can never get enough Chanel highlighters. I love the idea of a pink beige. I'm hoping it's a little bit more pink than beige, simply because I haven't really seen Chanel come out with anything in that color. They've done a lot of gold, a lot of beige, a lot of peach, and then of course with the Camellia highlighter we have that blinding silver. So if it does lean a little bit more pink, I think that will be very pretty. Because it's described as satin, I imagine this is going to be a little bit softer, a little bit more subtle. So maybe better for those people who don't like such a strong, intense highlight. And there are many of us out there. I can go both ways, but for a daytime, I think this is going to be really beautiful. This next item is on my must-see list. There's another Balm Essential in the shade Golden Light coming out. These retail for $45. It's a bronzy caramel multi-use glow stick. These came out 2 springs ago, I believe, and there was the transparent and then the original. Both were pretty sheer. Almost not really a huge difference between the two. One went on as more of a pure gloss and then the other had a little bit of a shine to it, a little bit of a pearlescent glow. But this bronzy caramel, I think this is going to be beautiful for deeper skin tones, really great for medium olive, all the way to really dark skin tones. But even my little pale self can't wait to see it in person because I think I just love the idea of kind of this beautiful bronzy glow to the skin. Something like this, I think I would get more use out of than any of the other Balm Essential sticks. This is the type of product that won't necessarily appeal to the majority of Chanel Beauty lovers because it is that wet, glass skin, tacky consistency. But in my experience and use, it looks very beautiful on the skin, and it's a far more natural highlight than powders or anything with a lot of shimmer to it. Even the stick before that had some shimmer, it was very light. So I think this is going to be really pretty and might surprise a lot of people. Next up, Chanel is introducing a brand new product in this collection. Always super exciting. I cannot wait to see these. The Ombre Premier Lac is going to retail for $36. It's a metallic long wear liquid eyeshadow that effortlessly glides on, releasing intense luminous color. It can be worn alone or as a base for any sort of powder eyeshadow that you want to put on top. These are very interesting. I know a lot of brands have something similar. I don't remember the last time Chanel did a liquid eyeshadow. I'm trying to think. Of course, they have the creams, which are some of my favorite cream eyeshadows, but a liquid doesn't really ring a bell. So this might be something really new. 22 Rayon is described as a metallic ivory beige. 28 Desert Wind is a metallic mauve brown gray. 32 Vastness is a metallic violet brown. 24 Rising Sun, metallic apricot. And 26 Quartz Rose, a metallic mauve peachy pink. There are at least 2 or 3 shades in there that I already know I have to have, and really all of them are beautiful. I think this is going to be a very difficult choice. There's not a single shade that stands out as the least attractive. Usually in any collection by any brand, there are a couple of pieces that I kind of think to myself, okay, well, whew, goodness, at least I know I don't have to buy those. But with these, I think they did such a beautiful job. Every single shade looks gorgeous. I think this is going to come down to the formula. If they got the formula right and it goes on and it's not a creasy mess and it looks beautiful and it blends like a dream, this is going to be a great staple to have from Chanel. Not one shade stands out as kind of too different or too bold or something that you would only wear occasionally. I really love the range here. I think there's going to be something for those with light skin, medium skin, deep skin tones, with every eye color. They chose the 5 best shades they possibly could. That violet mauve really is speaking to me, and that is never a color that is my first draw. And yet when I look at these all next to each other, that's the one that I'm most excited to try. If liquid isn't your thing, or perhaps you just don't like metallic eyeshadow, there are also 2 new eyeshadow quads coming. 352 Elemental is described as a matte mauve beige, an intense satin taupey brown, a matte dusty pink beige, a satin mauve caramel. This palette looks very similar to the Clair Obscur or the Essential palette. So this is going to be your soft, everyday, very natural eyeshadow palette. And then there's 354 Warm Memories. This contains a satin peachy rose, a satin brown rose, a soft coral with pink shimmer, and a matte mauve rose. These both retail for $62, which is of course the typical Chanel eyeshadow quad price. Of the 2 palettes, Warm Memories speaks to me the most. These eyeshadows look to be really warm, a bit more intense. I have to see them in person, but I would say right now, Warm Memories looks like my personal favorite. You really can't go wrong with either of these palettes. I think they're both very sophisticated and very soft, subtle, a really beautiful spring color palette. Spring 2020 is all about eyes because we have a 3rd eyeshadow product here. There are 2 new Stilo Ombre A contour sticks. Number 34 Contour Brun, a coffee bean brown, and 36 Contour Mauve, an intense rosy beige, which sounds really beautiful. And these both retail for $34. Now these sticks can be used as an eyeshadow, as an eye kohl, or an eyeliner. So you can smudge it out, or you can just use it as an eyeshadow base. These are very interesting to me because in my experience at the counter, working with clients, speaking to people about makeup, I never really hear people talk about this. It's not something that people ask for. I don't think there's a huge base for this type of product. So I found it really interesting that they were coming out with more shades. I like these sticks. I don't love them. I have the Nudie Clat. I have a few other shades. The only one that I really get use out of is the Nudie Clat, and I'll use it as a brow highlight, inner corner highlight, and it's very convenient. I do really like having it, but they're a bit dry, so I will be very curious to feel the texture. Maybe it's different. Maybe these go on a little bit smoother. Maybe they're a bit creamier. That would be my one complaint. And I know they've had a stick cream eyeshadow before the Stilo Ombre Contour Sticks that was very creamy. And I almost prefer that to this. I find that these are kind of tough to smudge. You almost have to use it like an eyeliner, because if you try to use it as an eyeshadow and draw color all over the lid, it can be sort of tough. Tough to blend, tough to smudge. It doesn't go on really smooth. Perhaps I just need to play around with them. In the Chanel tutorials that you can watch on their Instagram and the YouTube channel, I see Lucia Pica use these a lot, and of course they always look beautiful. It comes down to convenience. If there's a product that gives me a little bit of trouble once, I tend to throw it down and never touch it again. So maybe I just need to push myself out of my comfort zone. But I know if I feel that way, the majority of people who aren't obsessed with makeup probably feel the same way. And if they get home and they're like, what do I do with this again? It probably goes in the drawer and then you never touch it. Be sure to let me know what you think about these Stilo Ombre Contour Sticks. Do you love them? Do you own them? Is it something that you avoid? I'd be very curious to hear from you guys, fellow makeup enthusiasts and makeup lovers. Over the past few weeks, I've been toying with the idea of doing a January no-buy. And I was sitting here thinking about, well, how am I going to purchase any of these products? But oh yeah, it's going to be available on Chanel.com sometime in December. So I suppose I'm saved by the bell there. Still thinking about doing that no-buy, but I'm unsure. There are just too many great things that are coming out that I'm sure will tempt me, including these two lipsticks. So there are going to be two new lipsticks. There's a Rouge Allure Velvet Extreme in the shade 132 Endless, which is described as a warm rosewood. I love these types of colors because these are the lipsticks that you buy and you use. You use them up, you go through them. I don't really have a problem stocking up on these types of colors because it's what I'm going to wear on a daily basis. I'm going to reapply with ease. It's not like anything dramatic, or a red lipstick or a berry or any sort of deep tone. This looks very beautiful, and I love that they came out with a Rouge Velvet Extreme. And then there's also a Rouge Allure in the shade 191 Brûlant, an intense warm orange pink. This lipstick just looks like spring in a tube, in my opinion. This looks very beautiful, and of the two, I think this is probably the happier color, the one that I'm personally leaning towards. I love a warm pink, especially in the spring. This is definitely the most traditional item, I would say, in the entire collection. But the warm rosewood looks really nice too. Both of these will be very beautiful, universal, somewhat natural, and they're right there with that mauve, desert, earth tone vibe. I mean, all of these colors work really nicely together. The very last thing I have to share are the new nail polish colors. There are two of them. 739 Mirage is a milky mauve, and 735 Daydream, a mauvey beige. Both retail for $28, and they both look beautiful. Daydream looks very similar to several Chanel nail polishes, several that I own, and they're beautiful. I use them a lot. I'd have to see it in person. It doesn't necessarily stand out to me as being very unique, but on the other hand, I've gone through probably several bottles of something very similar. The Milky Mauve Mirage, this looks very beautiful. Not, again, what I would think about for spring. It looks more of maybe like a fall color, but still very pretty. I think this is going to be very gorgeous. That is the entire Desert Dream Spring 2020 collection from Chanel, and I am so excited to see these pieces in person. Overall, I think the idea, the inspiration is very beautiful. It's such a departure from the holiday collections that we are seeing and living in right now. All of the sparkle and bright, bold colors, they're so festive and fun. Personally, the holidays, it's my favorite time for makeup of the entire year. it's nice to go in a different direction for spring. I love the idea of soft matte textures, and I think the neutral mauves are going to be very beautiful. I'm personally the most excited for the glow stick, that bronze balm essential. I think that is going to be really beautiful. I'm also excited for the new product launch, the Ombre Premier Lac. If this texture is as great as I hope it will be, and it's Chanel, so I have no reason to doubt, I think this is going to be really beautiful. And that completes today's sneak peek. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, your questions down below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think. Drop me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on the collection. If there's something you're excited about, if there's a product that stands out to you, we can keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking all of the products that I used today on my face, and I will continue to update the description box when this collection goes live on Chanel.com. And you can check back here for my full review as soon as I decide what pieces I'm going to pick up. If you have any suggestions for me, leave me the suggestions down below. If there's something that you absolutely must see in a review, drop me a comment. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.